The idea behind African Diaspora Council is to, we did some researches around 17 states and especially in St. Louis, and I came across 2 schools close to Pagedale when we acquire a property in Pagedale to have African Cultural Center in Pagedale to change the narrative of Black and everyone who claim African heritage. So I visited presenting who we are as a color people in Riverview Garden. I saw what is there myself. Actually, I'm a student doing my PhD in social psychology in Walden University. I saw what is there in Riverview Garden. I know very well what is in Normandy High School. And we are just, our building is just very close to Normandy High School. And last year, I'm lucky to meet Kim. And with the passion and everything that I read through Leadership School, I think that's what we need. She is a person who wants to see a school as a family environment, how a mother and a person who really want to tell the children that is wrong, this is right. Now let us make a choice, a better choice that will impact your life for the future. And the motivation, all that I saw in Kim up to today, I can't wait to see what we are doing in Pagedale as an African Diaspora Council organization, seeing Kim opening the school in the same area so that we impact the children in that area. I wish the mayor is still alive today, Ms. Louise Carter. When we came to Pagedale, Pagedale was, there was situations from Florida to New York to St. Louis, Ferguson. And when we tried to buy this location, it's an old church, and somebody had have a cemetery and want to change the location to funeral home. And when we have a conversation with the mayor, and we said that this place we should not be, we don't want to use the location as a funeral home, but we want to transform our children, use the location as a place that we can educate our children instead of supporting them, burying them. Instead of, we want to educate them to do the right thing instead of let them kill each other and use the place as a burying ground. So the mayor said, we stopped the meeting, and the next time we came, when the mayor heard all this, and we said, okay, so if you want that we change Pagedale as a burying ground, then let the person who has a cemetery, let them buy the place, or let us use the place as an educational area to change the mind of our children. So the mayor said, well, I can't continue this conversation no more. I can't continue this meeting. So she adjourned the meeting.
I think that was the end of his comment. It seemed to freeze a little bit. Just a reminder, we only have about 10 minutes left or so, so we're going to try and get through as many people as possible, so try and keep it as short as possible. And now up next, we have Rachel and Jeremy Mapp.
Hello, I'm going to make this kind of short and sweet. I hope everybody can hear me okay. I just wanted to say thanks so much for this opportunity to speak. Just wanted to show my interest in supporting the Leadership School. We've been trying to figure out where our son will go to school next year. So he'll be in kindergarten, and it's definitely been a mystery. So we have been trying to figure out what we're going to do, but we do know that we want his school experience to be something that encourages him, both socially and academically, and challenges him. We want it to be something that builds his confidence and also helps to discover his own strengths, as they'll be unique to his peers. We also want something that prepares him for the world that we are living in now and that will be in the future. But we also really want him to go to school with his neighbors and with his peers and children that look like him and come from the neighborhoods that he is also living in. We believe that this opportunity in the leadership school definitely will work to satisfy all those things that we want in his educational experience. Kids and families deserve a choice of where their kids go to school. And fortunately for our family, we could make a private school option work, but that's not the case for many families. And so everybody deserves a choice of where their kids are going to go to school. We're hosting actually a Zoom meeting in a few weeks with several families in our neighborhood that are very interested in this opportunity, as we are too. And so I think that there's definitely a lot of neighborhood support and a lot of talk about this as a wonderful opportunity for our kids and families. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Up next, we have Di Bushanahan.
See. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hi. I'm Di Buchanan, and I'm actually really going to speak on, I guess, my experience when we were in the community as far as living in the Normandy School District. There wasn't a lot of course, number one options. We were a family that actually got involved in the new construction houses that were in the Pedro area. And as a family, as we, were homeowners, we actually was right in the middle of when the Normandy School District had lost their accreditation. And it, kind of devastated us because we didn't have the options. We didn't have the, means to go to private school as far as with our children and things of that nature. So I kind of see with this leadership school and making that an option for a lot of families that, really want to have that home ownership in the community, and then actually have it conveniently located, where they can, go to school, like the other young lady had said, like with their peers, people that look like them, like educators that look like them, and have that something that they can identify with as, a youth coming up. A lot of children don't have that. During that time when my children were in Normandy School District, when they lost their accreditation, the only option they were trying to do was have them bust out to Francis Howell, which was, it was something that most families opted into, and we just chose not to go that route. So I feel that with this new project, as far as the leadership school, it really just gives, families that hope that, there are educators out there that, need to, be with the children of the community and help educate and continue that as they come up, because there's all different types of things that we'll need in the future as far as professions that these children need at a young age. So I like the structure that's already been laid out for the leadership school. I think it's something that's definitely needed and is going to continue and hopefully grow if this thing gets off the ground and running. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have 5 minutes left, so we're going to try and get through as many people as possible. Next up, we have Ron Robinson. Oh.
Okay. All right. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
All right. So I've had the pleasure of working with Kim at Crossroads College Preparatory School. She was the school director, and it was my first year as a teacher, and it was her passion and leadership that really influenced me and taught me to be the best leader and teacher. What I noticed about Kim is that she cares. She cares for the students, the parents, the teachers, and she's truly invested in the students' lives. And she not only helps students become good leaders, but also good citizens. She definitely has the ability to influence, inspire, and empower. And that was the one thing I really took away from her, and that I try to do myself now with my students, is to influence, inspire, and empower. And I support her fully. And I believe the model of the school should be the model of every school throughout the states. Thank you.
Thank you. And next up, we have Anita.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I've known Kim for quite a while, and I am more than pleased to hear of the new leadership school. It's not by happenstance that Kim would choose such a name as a leadership school. I've watched her take the helm and pretty much lead a community with an undeniable confidence. She's never been afraid to stand for what she believed in, and she's always put the children first. She's always cared about the children as well as the parents. Kim's always addressed my concerns as a parent. My daughter Grace was with Kim at Crossroads, and I saw her push her to her leadership role. I always taught her that she was a leader, but I watched Kim allow her to be autonomous as well as the other kids. She always made time for the parents. I'm so grateful, Kim, that you have followed your dream. I've seen it, I'm seeing it come to fruition, and I know for certain that you will meet the needs of the families and the children in this moment. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. We will just have two more quick public comments, and next is Athena.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Okay. I'm an early childhood educator, and it is imperative to me that we create an enjoyable learning environment. It is in the best interest of our children to create multiple types of learning experiences. By providing this, it helps each child to discover the best way they learn. By doing this, our children have a better chance at being successful in the public school system. As we all know, most public schools are set up in a lecture style environment, with coming from child care facilities that do learn through play, creative play, where children are able to choose what activities they will participate in, to then going into the public school system in a lecture style. It is a hard adjustment for the public school setting. Most public schools do not give the children the autonomy to create the best learning environment for themselves. Ms. Townsend's model of the leadership school fosters this type of environment. When Mrs. Townsend came to our facility and worked along with our school-age children, it showed how much our children could do with the right environment and confidence put in them. There were parents that were hoping that the school would have opened this present school year because of their children coming home talking about how excited they were about learning. As a parent and an educator for 20 years, I understand the need for multiple educational options for learning. This should be a choice available to every parent without concern of a financial burden to ensure their children learn the best way that greatest fits them. Thank you.
Thank you. And I know we are out of time, but I just want to get to one more. Tanisha Joyce.
Oh, okay. I'm excited to go last. So a lot of the things that I plan to say, other people have said, which is really exciting. I've known Kim for 10 years. When I came to St. Louis to teach math 10 years ago, she was my coach. She has coached me through teaching positions, school leadership positions, and a central office leadership position in St. Louis Public Schools. She remained my coach even after she was my formal coach. There are just three things that I'm going to say about her to narrow it down. The first thing that I want to say is that Kim is committed to a long-term vision. As a school leader, and so I saw multiple leaders come through my school when I was a teacher. And as a central office leader, I saw a lot of rotation in leadership in schools, and consistency is really important for building structures and seeing a long-term vision through. And Kim's long-term vision is strong and she is committed to it. I have seen her overcome serious challenges to keep the leadership school's mission and vision going, and she is committed, and she is what Normandy needs. Kim also knows that when she started this idea and she was developing her vision, she knows that I was from the beginning critical, and I'm always critical of charter schools because they're all not good. So we need another option in the St. Louis region, but not just any option. We need the leadership school specifically with Kim's leadership because of her commitment to the vision and because of her dedication to student voice and because of the way she listens to teachers. When she coached me, when I was a teacher, she knew my students by name. Even though she was coaching multiple teachers, she wanted to make sure that the plans we created were personalized for my students, and she would ask me me specifically by name about students. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that everything that has been said has been true. Some people stole my thunder on things that I wanted to say about Kim, but that's great because to hear it from students, to hear it from colleagues, to hear it from people who were first-year teachers is amazing. And I know that Kim will bring the Leadership School's mission to fruition, and she will incorporate all of the feedback from the community, all of the feedback and voice from students, and will make sure that it's a long-term mission and not just something short. So she has the commitment that is necessary, the skills, and she is dedicated.
Thank you so much, Tanisha, and as well as everyone else who was able to join us tonight. I know we weren't able to get through everyone, but just a reminder, if we did not get to you, still put your you can still email your comments to info@mcpsc.mo.gov. And that concludes the public hearing portion of tonight's hearing. And we will, about 5-minute break, and then we'll resume the board interview. So again, thank you so much to everyone for joining us tonight.
Delbert, we may have lost Kathy Joe.
Well, that's not any good.
No, that's not. I just texted her, so um, so we'll see what happened. She was having internet problems at the beginning, but I did notice she was part of the public hearings.
Well, she's from Southwest Missouri, so she may not have any electricity.
Yeah.
All right, if we're ready, I think we're going to go ahead and get started with the board interview portion of tonight's hearing. All commissioners and board members should be able to now be able to unmute themselves. But if you are not a commissioner or board member, please just make sure that you remain muted. And with that being said, I'll turn it back over to Delbert.
Thank you very much, Bailey. And again, thank you to each one. And we look forward to getting acquainted with the board of the Leadership School. I'd like to ask the commissioners that are on the meeting at this point to, I'll introduce you, but if you tell us a little bit about yourself so we can kind of get acquainted. And then when the board chairman introduces you, if you'd give us just a little bit about yourself. Susan, glad to have you on the commission, and you're one of the originals. So
Right, I am. I know. Sometimes people refer to those people as the grandmother of. That's not always the most attractive way to be referred to, but you're right. I've been here forever, since the beginning. I live in St. Louis. I've have a pretty deep background in education, which I will not go into, but I have spent a lot of time working for, with, and on behalf of charter schools. So good to hear the opportunity tonight to hear from Kimberly and her supporters, and look forward to talking to the board.
thank you, Susan. Mary Jane, Mary Jane is from Cape Girardeau. So would you tell us about yourself a bit? We don't have you on sound, Mary Jane. If you could unmute yourself.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. I moved to Cape Girardeau about 5 years ago from California, where I was involved with charter schools, both teaching and on school boards. And that, in my opinion, is what's going to happen to our education, hopefully in the future. So I want to be on board to facilitate that. And this looks like a good one.
Thank you, Mary Jane. Is Peggy on the phone? We never know where Peggy is, but many times fishing under a bridge somewhere. She is from Ozark, Missouri, and she's one of the original commissioners. Are you picking her up any, Robin?
Yeah, she's on. Bailey, can you unmute her at all?
Okay, I got it then.
There we go.
Thank you.
I am not from Ozark, Missouri, which is 4 miles east of Nixa, Missouri. Sorry there, Delbert. Right now I'm coming to you from the beautiful Table Rock Lake. Our family is out camping. But I wouldn't miss the opportunity to hear more about the Leadership School. Very impressed with Kim and her supporters that have called in to give their support. I come to the commission 5 years ago with 30 years experience of serving on the school board in a premier school district, and have been impressed with the opportunity that I've had to get to know my commissioners and the work that we've done through the past 5 years. Looking forward to learning more about the Leadership School and the founding board members.
And sorry about the slight, Peggy. I know the difference between Ozark and Nixa. So
if you only knew the family discourse there.
That's right. Did Kathy Joe get back on the call? we lost her a while ago. Kathy Joe's from Joplin. Alicia is from Kansas City. I'm Delbert Scott from Lowry City. And a little of my background, was a school teacher, had a family business in Lowry City, spent a lot of years in the legislature. And so this is what we're doing now that we have retired. So let's get acquainted with the board. Is Linnell, are you the chairman?
Yes, sir.
All right, if you could
Yes,
tell.
sir. Can everybody hear me?
Go ahead.
Actually, I'm gonna allow our two other board members, Kiwi and Sharita, to go ahead and introduce themselves. I want to follow up behind them, and then I have a quick thing that I wanted to kind of bring up about the composition of our current board.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
So, Kiwi, if you want to start us out.
You're muted, Kiwi.
Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, good evening. All right, my name's Kiwi Hendricks. I'm the current CEO and president of the National Material Supply Company. A little bit about myself. I grew up in the inner city of St. Louis, 80s and the 90s, pretty much South St. Louis City, the area that a lot of people know as the Mangrove now. It's a completely gentrified area. I'll tell you, it was nothing like that in the 80s and 90s. Very, very similar to the current, I guess, environment in the Normandy School District, the area I grew up in. So my educational background, I attended the St. Louis Cathedral Grade School. And just to kind of a caveat to that, my parents decided to school myself and my sister in private school. So the St. Louis Cathedral Grade School was a Catholic private school in the 80s. After graduating from the St. Louis Cathedral Grade School, I attended St. Louis University High School, which was actually not too far from the neighborhood that I grew up in. So I kind of had the best of both worlds of growing up in the inner city, as well as attending private schools in the inner city. And so that kind of provided a little bit of a foundation to how I feel that I will be able to provide a lot of support to Kim's vision of a leadership school, just from my early childhood educational background. From when graduating from high school in 92 from St. Louis University High, I attended Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in upstate New York, which is an engineering university, and I achieved a mechanical engineering degree there. Went on to work in corporate America as an engineer for a few years with Anheuser-Busch. While I was in college, I also participated with the leadership development program called Inroads, and I'm sure a lot of the commission have heard of Inroads. And it was a great opportunity because they focused on a lot of inner city youth and giving them an opportunity and the tools to be successful in a corporate environment. So coupling your education along with the ins and outs of how to break the barriers that a lot of inner city communities have. And so I was successful in that regard. I left AB and landed a job working for Boeing here in St. Louis. And I had various roles within Boeing over the course of a 10-year career. One of the benefits of working with Boeing, I was able to attend grad school at Washington University here in St. Louis. So I'm a homegrown, home-educated young fella here in St. Louis. When I graduated from Olin School of Business in 2001, I achieved an MBA and continued to work with Boeing for a number of years with a job. One of the jobs that I had was as an internal auditor. It was a leadership development program Boeing put together called the Enterprise Auditors Program, which we focus a lot on financial metrics and compliance throughout the company at a very high level. It was a very difficult program to be a part of, and I did that for about 2 years. And so I left Boeing about 12 years ago and started my current company that I am the president and CEO of, the National Material Supply Company. My company is a small business. We have about 7 7 employees that work in the business. And my foundation or my educational background, as well as my experience in corporate America and working as an entrepreneur, I think has positioned me to be a very key component on the board to assist Kim with the success of the Leadership School. I've known Kim for about 20 years. And when she presented the idea of the Leadership School to me, it was a no-brainer as an opportunity to serve in some capacity. And when she offered the opportunity to serve on the board, it was a no-brainer. So I said, yeah, I think that I could definitely add some value at some level to the success of your school. And also, again, with my background and work experience and being an entrepreneur, I think it's positioned me to provide a lot of the necessary support that Kim would need, especially from a financial oversight, because as sitting on the board, I was nominated to serve as the head of the financial committee on the board. So I guess my background of looking at the numbers, I think that would add a lot of value going forward. So that's me in a nutshell.
Well, Kevin, you've got the rough job. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Good
All right,
evening,
Sharita,
everyone.
you want to go ahead?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Thank you first for having myself and fellow board members share tonight. My name is Sharita Love. I am from St. Louis, born and raised. I'm a North County resident. I'm a mother of 3 beautifully brilliant young women, 2 who are in college and 1 who is entering 3rd grade. I'm an educator. I began my career teaching in the Webster Grove School District and moved into, or spent the bulk of my career, I would say, in the nonprofit education space, however. That's been in growing programs and curriculum, that's been in supporting STEM education, and a robust working around anti-racist education here in the St. Louis region and abroad. Most of my time is spent as the founding director of EdHub STL, and EdHub exists in part due to the call to action from the Ford v. Ferguson Commission, which called St. Louis to create a space for educators to come together to grapple with some of our region's most entrenched education issues. So that's central to who I am, central to the way I choose to serve, and what is needed and necessary in our region when we talk about equitable opportunities for all kids in our region. I'll go back to my most important role, which is a mom. And I often bring that into the room when I'm having conversations such as we are tonight, because they drive not just my work and the way I show up, but the way that I choose to and know that it is critically important to center kids in our decision-making and the way that we show up in our work. And so I bring that lens also to the reason why I chose to say yes to joining as one of the founding board members for the Leadership School. I met Kim. We both did the fellowship that she talked a little bit about earlier today. That's where we met. We met in that fellowship. I had no intention of starting a school. It was very clear on that. I had no intention of doing that. But you could just see the wheels turning for Kim just throughout the whole process, and in getting to know her and learn her, you know, and learn from others about Kim, know that she is the perfect person that's poised to lead this visionary, innovative work in North St. Louis County. And I would say that's another reason why I said yes. Like, this is laying groundwork, right, for something that has yet to be in St. Louis County, to have a charter school located within the county. I believe in vision. Bold vision is going to be necessary to move us in this region. And so that's another reason why I said yes. And the last one I'll share is that I see this as a way for us to address the systemic issues that have plagued the community of Normandy. And this gives a choice option that is going to support and I believe address some of those issues. So again, thank you for allowing me to share tonight.
All right, thank you, Sharita, and thank you, commissioners, for allowing us to sort of present our idea here for the Leadership School. I'm Linnell Hunter. I've worked at Clayco, a construction company here in St. Louis for the past 6 years. My current title is Virtual Design and Construction Director. I've been in the architecture and construction industry for about 15 years. I was born and raised right here in St. Louis. I attended Hazelwood East High School in North County, and then I went to WashU for undergraduate school. Right after graduating, I participated in Teach for America, which I was also located here in St. Louis, and that's where I first met Kim. We both, I guess, witnessed the sort of firsthand exposure to shortcomings in the educational system in the school that we worked in. There were just a lot of challenges, as you can imagine, with newer teachers in a brand new school. And we really struggled, but we also bonded sort of as a team. There's a few people from Teach for America at the school, and we bonded with our core members. And I can say that Kim and I were sort of forged in the same fires. And, I knew then, just from seeing her effort, her tenacity, the way she worked and the way she went at it every day, she embodied Teach for America's ideal of relentless pursuit of excellence. And day in and day out, we got beat down a lot of days by, just dealing with students, being new teachers, dealing with administrators. But every day, Kim popped up, had a positive attitude, and was ready to get right back to work. Ultimately, I chose to go off into architecture and construction after my two-year commitment, but I always felt like, as soon as an opportunity popped up where I could get back and at least contribute in some way or capacity, that I'd definitely be open to that. So I echo Kiwi's sentiment when he says that when Kim called him, same way it was for me, it was a no-brainer. I know she's the person that has the sheer willpower to get it done. I know she's the person that's going to come back to it day after day. And I know she's going to be dedicated to the task and that she cares about kids, some of the same things that we've heard from other people. So that's a little bit about me. And what I want to do is take a moment to acknowledge the fact that we have 3 of our board members here. We are a 4-person board. We have another member, Dr. Reagan Johnson. Right now, she is experiencing a personal tragedy within her family. Her mother is very sick, and she is she's not able to join us here for this meeting. But she has been involved with everything the Leadership School is up to until this point. And she has, been a contributing member for us. So I wanted to take a brief moment, if you all don't mind, just to read a little bit about her from her bio. We do have this in our charter, but I just want to make sure that we bring this up because, like I said, she has been a contributing member to our board. So Dr. Reagan Johnson has worked in the fields of magazine and newspaper journalism. She's worked in public relations for both corporate and nonprofit communications. She's received multiple awards for her writing and communication. She's currently the public communications and media lead at Spire, which is the utility company here in St. Louis. Reagan has participated in Focus St. Louis Emerging Leaders Program. She's participated in Washington University Women in Leadership, the St. Louis Business Diversity Initiative Fellows Program, the FBI St. Louis Citizens Academy, and she currently sits on the St. Louis Symphony Advisory Council, Regional Business Council's Young Professionals Network Steering Committee, United Way's Charmaine Chapman Leadership Society and Cabinet. And she's also earned a BA in Communications from St. Louis University, a master's degree in journalism from the University of Missouri-Columbia, a PhD in public policy studies with an emphasis on urban and community development. She earned that from St. Louis University. So you can see from the long list of credentials there why we value her so much and why she's an important part of this board. She brings a lot of just broad knowledge, and she definitely can help us in the way of being able to get effective communications out to parents and possibly to other people as we try to build support for the leadership school. The other thing that I wanted to address right away is sort of our the current composition of our board. Just to get it out there, we are aware that we're a 4-person board, and even with Dr. Johnson here tonight, we still would be a small team. We understand that, and we know from the advisory boards, excuse me, from the advisory board's review of our charter, that one of their concerns was we are on the small side. So right out of the gate, we can tell you that we know we are definitely committed to adding more members to our board. Right now, we have discussions going on with one person who lives in the Normandy School District. She also has a very strong connection to education as her background. So we're really excited about that prospect. And quite frankly, we do have a few other prospects that we feel like should the commission choose to be our sponsor, once we can go back to them and say, hey, things are rolling here, you better get on board. We think we can kind of sort of tip the balance with those people that may be on the fence that we've been looking at. So just be aware, we are a small team. We're definitely committed. We're definitely dedicated. We think we have the skills. We recognize that we got some gaps to fill in, and we're certainly committed to doing that.
Well, thank you to each one of you for showing up tonight, and our sympathies to Dr. Reagan. Let's start out with some questions, and the board's going to take turns asking you about different areas of your plan. And you do have a very qualified board, and appears to be energetic. And we wish you the best. You're the first school outside of St. Louis City and Kansas City, first charter school. You may not realize it, but there's some folks that don't like charter schools, and for various reasons, some of them legitimate perhaps, but many of them are not. So you're going to be in the spotlight. People are going to be looking to see how you're in a tough district. Linnell, what's going to keep your eyes on the goal and keep pressing forward to be successful as a charter school in that district?
Thank you. That's a great question. It's something that we've thought a lot about. One thing that we're realizing is that we're coming into Normandy, a school district, and I remember when I was in high school, we played, I played on the football team, and we played Normandy High School every year. And, we don't get it mistaken. We beat them down every time. We mopped the floor with them. They were, they were no comparison to Hazelwood East. We were a powerhouse football team. But what we knew every time coming into Normandy, coming to play on their field, is that team had a lot of pride, that neighborhood had a lot of pride. There's a lot of pride in that community. And one of the things that that's really, our eyes have been open to is we're coming into this community where people may not necessarily have the best education opportunities available to them right now, but they certainly care. It's evident in, just driving around the way the neighborhood looks. It's evident in some of the smaller projects that are going on there. And it's evident when you sit down and you start to talk to parents and people within the community. So we've had to realize that. We've had to, look at our goals and the things that we want to achieve. And we've had to ask ourselves, how can we, instead of coming in and pointing out all the things that are wrong, instead of coming in and saying we want to tear everything down and rebuild, how can we partner with the people that are there? How can we connect with them to sort of use the resources that they have and sort of come up with some sort of synergistic ways to inspire, not only the leadership school and the people that we work with directly, but maybe, the practices that we develop, share those with the Normandy School District and inspire people in the community. So we know that we will have a lot of eyes on us. We will have a very bright spotlight being the first charter school in St. Louis County. But at the same time, we're committed to showing people that, hey, we're not here to tell you we know better. We're here to work with you, and we're here to help. I don't know if Sharita or Kiwi, if you all have anything you want to add to that. Sharita?
Yeah, thanks for pitching it. I did want to add something. I was itching a little bit. Yeah, just to add to that, I strongly believe in, building relationships. And I know that's not only fundamental to one of the values of the leadership school, just as, any project, any work that you're going to do in community, you have to build relationships and you have to build trust. And you definitely have to be transparent about who you are, why you're here, why you're showing up, and that you're not going anywhere. And so I believe that that's core to who we are at the leadership school, and that will certainly continue. When you are transparent about who you are, how you're showing up, and your commitment to the community, that leaves little space for people to write their own narrative about who you are and why you're there.
Good, good.
Yeah, and I'll say just one more thing to support Linnell. When I look at the leadership school and how we're going to stay focused on the goal, the dream. A lot of us on the board, we come from St. Louis, and we're looking to promote and show that you can be successful in adverse environments. And so the leadership school is a beacon it's a platform that we as a board feel that, I think I speak for everyone, feel that it's a platform for us to interject a lot of our background and our experiences and say, it can be done. You just have to believe. And if you believe, you can achieve. And I think that's really going to keep us on the straight and narrow course to success.
Great. Susan, what do you
Sure.
got?
Thank you all. Interesting comments, and in fact, you've done a good job of just going right to the heart of what I was going to ask in the very beginning here. I read your mission and vision and your goals again this afternoon, and while you've painted a real broad brush of important things here, I have a little background in spending some time in Normandy too over time, and I think I know how it got where it got. And it took a long time to get there. My question is, specifically, your vision and your mission, how do you know that that's exactly what Normandy needs? How are you making your school for Normandy?
Absolutely. I'll jump in here, and certainly if there's anything that anyone else wants to add from the board, feel free. So I'll start with saying that the ways in which Kim shared the process by which community was engaged, how we have listened to the needs of parents, educators, business leaders that have been there and what they want for kids, and centering that first. I'll then also share with the approach, understanding what's been shared from constituents themselves, really centering what they've shared and how we've dreamed up this vision for how we show up in our mission, what we envision for the future leaders that will graduate from the leadership school, and then, just really centering the kids in every decision that's made as a response to that. So yeah, for me, and what we've done so far, it's been listening to what the community themselves has said.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I don't know if Kathy Jo ever got back on. Did she? Do you know? Are you there, Kathy Jo? If not, I can segue from my question to what I think she was going to talk about. Is that acceptable?
Go right ahead. You got
okay. Okay, great. Sharita, I expected you to jump in on that after I heard what you had to say before you started talking, before I could even call on you. So good job. That's great. Let's talk about something else that's nothing that you talked about tonight, and kind of gets to the heart of some of the things that are problems in Normandy and difficulties in school sometimes, and how that focuses toward leadership, your focus of leadership. discipline is a really, really important thing in schools. Can you give me an idea of how you think discipline and leadership might connect at this particular school?
Of course. So can I clarify discipline as far as
climate
corrective behavior?
Yes.
And such. Right. Yeah, that's core to the leadership or the Leader in Me model, which, you know, those of you who have reviewed the charter and those of you who know about the model, that, you know, a lot of that is built into this proven strategy around the Leader in Me. And I'll just kind of go back to the relationship piece as well. How if we know students, if we care for students, if we see them first, like if that is the core thing first ahead of any learning, that is our hope, goal, and work is that that would support mitigating for some of the issues that we might see around discipline. We believe that with some of our core team strategy, when we talk about, you know, student success teams, when we talk about looking at the data, looking at where any gaps that we see in supporting students who may be acting out of other needs, right? They may be acting out if they're hungry, of course, they're not going to perform as well. If they are having conflict with a friend, they're not going to perform as well. And so when we have this wraparound service, we have a core team that is paying attention to not just that data piece, but they're also paying attention to the holistic way and the holistic needs of our students. We're hoping that the marriage of those things will mitigate for the need for, or mitigate for some of the discipline issues that we might see in students.
In discipline issues, have you in any of your discussions talked about discipline surrounding kids with special needs?
Sure. Laid out in the charter, we've talked a little bit about how we plan to address students with special needs, how to support students with special needs. We have been engaged in strong relationship and partnership with community organizations that are also just looking to wrap around the work that we're doing within the school and the school district. But again, that I believe that, you know, with the support services that will be offered, ensuring that we're honoring individualized education plans, 504s, IEPs, so on and so forth, and the student success teams, that our hope and goal is, again, to mitigate and minimize, you know, discipline issues that we'll see as we address, you know, relationship, ensuring that there's strong relationships between teachers and students, ensuring that one of our values of loving ourselves and loving our neighbors and loving one another is showing up and present in our work. And so, yeah, we definitely acknowledge that is an issue, and that's something that we can see, not just in our school, but across, you know, schools in our region. But we believe that our approach to authentic relationships, to seeing our kids, and to providing that support, that holistic support, that will help to minimize discipline issues that we'll see in the school.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Jane?
Okay, I have some questions on student academic achievement. What is your plan to achieve and maintain high standards for your students?
I can go ahead and take that one on. So we do have very high goals for our students as far as academic proficiency goes. We're looking to get them basically every year to be moving them 1.25 grade levels beyond, you know, where they are, and we're going to be pushing them to achieve certainly far better than equivalent numbers on Missouri assessments on as compared to, you know, other districts in this area. We're shooting for 70% of kids to be proficient for English language arts and 60% of kids to be proficient in mathematics by the 5th year that we're open. the way to achieve that is by, creating the environment that we feel like kids are comfortable, kids feel like they can take ownership and, value what's happening in their school. And then also to, basically put that rigorous academic material in front of them, not to assume that, they're coming at a disadvantage or that they're not capable of, rising to the challenge that we put in front of them. Those two elements together sort of provide fertile ground for us to raise these, I guess, kids as leaders throughout the time at the leadership school. So we got, kids that are focused on developing themselves, and then kids that are also at the same time focused on the challenges that we put in front of them. The other thing I think is we have to make sure that we have teachers and administrators and everybody else in the building that touches a child's education, kind of preaching the same thing. We're all in this together. We're growing in the same direction, and we're making sure that kids understand that we expect nothing less than their very best every day.
And what safeguards are you going to use to make sure your students don't fail?
So as far as safeguards go, really what we're going to do is we're going to focus on data. We're going to make sure that we're assessing them, we're looking at those assessments, and we are moving them in the right direction. If we are looking at the data, monthly, weekly, regularly, we will be able to tweak the way that, instruction is going. And I think this is something, so in the first couple of years, this is something that will fall under the executive director, as she will be focused on academics, but it will be, focusing on the curriculum and is there any tweak, any change that we can make based on the data that we're seeing from assessments that we are continually giving our students.
And what do you see as your culture?
As far as culture goes, we want you to walk into the leadership school and see kids, kind of like I said, taking ownership and taking pride in the building and taking ownership of, their environment and, excited to come to school every day and call their school the leadership school. What we want is we want to make sure that kids are working on projects that get them out into the community, that gives them an opportunity to experience what leadership is like. We want kids involved in student government, maybe student council. We want them taking on various roles within the school and letting us know, hey, we see, a better option for lunch, or, there's better ways that we can, put up decorations or school mottos or anything like that, so that we can sort of express our views and make that a part of the school climate.
Thank you.
Peggy, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
It is your turn.
All right, thank you. I'm very impressed with the high caliber of members that's on your founding board. And Lionel, I thank you for addressing a mutual concern that we have for your small number of founding board members. Let's take the scenario, if your charter is approved tomorrow morning at our meeting, give me a timeline, a more definite timeline of bringing how many more members and how soon.
Yes, ma'am. So we are prepared to commit to adding on. Right now, we're at a 4-person board. We're committed to add, and we have 1 prospect. We're committed to adding the 3 additional people by the end of this year. So by the end of 2020, we feel like that's more than enough time for us to go out into the community and reach out to the contacts that we already have. And like I said, if we are granted with your sponsorship, we do feel like we'll be able to go to some of the connections that we've already made, and they'll be a lot more willing to put in the extra work and effort that it takes to be on a school board once we have sponsorship.
And have you had any opportunities up till now to do some training as a team?
So we have not done the training.
Yeah. Pardon me.
No. So far, we've been kind of hustling and trying to get everything prepared. One for the interview, but then making sure that we've packed everything that we wanted to into the charter. We do have an opportunity with education board partners, and we are definitely aware of the need for board training. I think as soon as we get past, hopefully, if we get past this hurdle, as soon as we get past the current hurdle, our focus is going to be getting everybody trained up. We're aware that, you know, being on a school board is a very serious commitment. We know that there are, you know, personal and legal aspects to it. And we want to make sure that we are aware of everything that we're supposed to be aware of and that we're prepared to serve. Because at the end of the day, what we're really concerned about is the safety and the you know, productivity and just the environment that we create for our kids. So yes, we are committed to ongoing training. We'll be, you know, doing that on a regular basis. Also in our charter, we outline that annually we'll have a retreat to cover, you know, big picture items that we can't necessarily get to in meetings. And, you know, we will constantly be looking for new opportunities to learn more as a board.
That was my next question, was toward retreat, because the opportunity to not just work through an agenda, but to also network and to get to have the fellowship of board members so that they can strengthen themselves and as they work together with the mutual concerns. Sharita mentioned something about transparency. I wondered if your board plans to broadcast or Zoom or some way televise your board meetings to reach out to those community people that may not take the opportunity to attend and walk into the building for a board meeting, but may want to sit through and just see what this is all about.
Absolutely. I think in that way, COVID has been sort of a little bit of a blessing in that it's gotten us all on the Zoom and aware that we have these opportunities to broadcast everything to, you know, a group of people that wouldn't have been able to come to an office building or come to a school, you know, at 6 o'clock in the evening. So absolutely, we plan to comply with all Missouri Sunshine laws and any state regulations as far as making our board meetings public. But yes, I think it would be great for us to put this on Zoom and broadcast it out to the community. We'd definitely be able to get feedback from parents that way. And I can commit to us doing that. Yeah, we would definitely be doing that.
You would not believe the times I have been stopped in a grocery store, in a parking lot, with people that say, I watch you every month on that Thursday night. And I said, really? You really do? You know, because I was just amazed. And they said, no, I care about it, but I'm not going to take the time to clean up and come to the board meeting, you know. So it's really surprising the people that you will reach and that will actually then reach out to you of their concerns, because both of those people then told me about someone they really appreciated in the job they were doing or a program that had been initiated and the board's support behind that. So never discount that anytime you can reach out to your community and be transparent, you will grow as a board and as a school district.
Absolutely. I think all we can do is just take that feedback and constantly improve.
Correct. Thank you.
Do any of the board members have a second round question you'd like to share with these board?
I have one that I think Alicia probably would ask, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned the effect of COVID on you, and you're going to roll out hiring in the second phase of your opening here, and that's really right around the corner. Fall of 2021 is tomorrow in time of opening a school. So I'm wondering if you've had talks about and plans about how to get the right teachers with the right schools and the right number of them, given that recruitment is always difficult, and in the time of COVID, it's darn near impossible.
Yeah, it's no doubt about it. This has been just a situation where everyone is scrambling and trying to figure out, you know, how to proceed when everything around us is so uncertain. I think as far as recruitment goes, we'll still put out the openings, and, you know, I'll defer to Kim for specific roles in hiring and staffing. but we'll still put out the roles or the availability, I guess, the positions through the normal channels. And I guess a lot of that would have to happen on Zoom as far as hiring teachers and administrators and things like that. I think one of the things that we're concerned about is, just being able to pivot in a time like this and sort of staying nimble, keeping up with the, I guess, guidelines from various government agencies and things like that. What we certainly hope is that by, the fall of 2021, the worst is behind us. It's everything has been unpredictable so far, but if we're in a position where we do have to sort of pivot and scramble, we're definitely going to be talking about that as a board. We're going to be keeping up with all the, news bulletins, information, like I said, any guidelines, regulations from the state or, health agencies. We'll be trying to keep abreast of that. And, we're going to be doing the same thing that public school boards are doing or other school boards are doing. We're going to be, looking at all the information and trying to make the best decision for our students and our families.
Thank you.
I have one question. Do you give Kimberly something to make her smile all the time, or she just knew that?
It's easy to
It's
make
a
her
good
smile.
trait, Kimberly. Just keep it up. It'll get you a lot of miles down the road. Have you measured the community to see the desire for an alternative to the public school system, the St. Louis public school system, as far as recruiting of students go? For any of you.
Sharita, you want to jump in?
Yeah. I was trying to get myself to the mute button. Yes, we have. And that work continues. Like we have done that, as Kim talked about a little bit, and what has been shared, I think, in public comment and shared around like some of the surveying that we've done, some of the engagement that we've done, and like what continues to be in progress. We have parents who are talking to one another. Still, those who are comfortable with, going door to door are still doing that. Like we still have a high level engagement of folks who are trying to spread the word, to talk about what this option is and what's coming to Normandy, to get folks engaged, to understand, who we are, what we're about, the options that we will provide for students and families. And so we're really excited about that, to be honest, like, just the way in which word of mouth is spreading and the support by which the parents are leading these conversations. So yes.
That's great. What we found in many communities is that parents vote with their feet.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a life-changing decision
Mm-hmm.
for not only the kids, but for the parents. So
Mm-hmm.
we know you'll take it seriously, and that knocking on doors is a big part of getting the word out. One of the things that this commission established from our start a little over 5 years ago is that we don't just want more charter schools, but we want quality charter schools. And we have been real focused on that. We have actually closed 2 charter schools that were doing a poor job or not what they should have been doing. And I want you to get that in your ears to start out with, that we don't need just another charter school, but we need quality schools with opportunities, because when the kids have those opportunities and they take advantage of them, it is life-changing. And that's what brings a lot of warmth, a lot of satisfaction to this job. And we look forward to the meeting tomorrow. And as you have Kimberly, we also have Robin. Now, I'm not sure that Robin smiles as much as Kimberly or not, but we normally miss some really important things here. So Robin, what have we missed?
Well, I just don't think that it's fair that Kiwi just gets the pass on the Q&A here. So I think I'll throw him the last question.
Oh, good. Nathan.
So since you're the numbers guy, I think, some of the things that we all know about our community right now is there's, this pandemic has caused an economic crisis. And the schools that are operating this year have already had one withhold. The gambling tax is down, taxes are going to be down. And that's, people paid their taxes late this year, and that was all on the 19 year. They're paying 20's coming, and then by the time you guys get open, there'll be another fiscal year. And if, every day that this thing goes on is a day that's going to impact businesses, restaurants are closing and all. And it's a difficult thing for Normandy. You don't have a lot of commercial. It's all, it's a lot of personal real estate. And if you don't have the income from the state, you're not going to have the income that you need to keep the doors open. So can you tell us a little bit about how you will approach managing, what contingencies are you thinking about, and how do you go about making the decisions about cutting when we also know that there's not enough money for schools as it is?
Yeah, and that's a great question and a great concern. And we have, as a team, have talked a lot about how COVID has impacted, as Linnell had mentioned before, just operations. And so when our charter, our business plan was written, we try not to focus so much on grants and those types of supporters that are out there that will donate. We've had discussions about fundraising drives that we would have within the area in order to generate the necessary funding that would promote the Leadership Schools plan. And right now we do have a handful of supporters who have committed to supporting Leadership School as soon as our charter is approved, and we were able to move forward in that direction. We've also looked at the number of students that we are looking, we hope to attract in the first year, and we have some plans if we don't achieve that particular goal as it relates to staffing and different programs that we may be able to have to put on hold in order to support the students that we are able to attract to the Leadership School. So it's really going to be a function of our backers and our supporters and our sponsors and a lot of the fundraising plans that we have in place.
Yeah, it's that'll only get you so far, if, in the first round, and having those plans around staffing changes and how you're going to reduce expenses are going to be really critical. And those are really tough because you've got you got a great idea here, right? And all of these pieces matter. You didn't put things in your charter that wasn't important or wasn't connected to what you wanted to achieve. And these are going to be some tough decisions that you're going to make. So, I do believe a quality school will get the investment it needs, but at the expense side, there's going to be a little rough road on the next couple of years for you. But you're up for it.
Yes, definitely up for it.
Thanks, Delbert.
Any other commissioners got a question? Every good meeting has a beginning and an end. We're nearing the ending. We'd like to thank Doug Diamond and the Missouri Public Charter School Association for helping arrange this. And Bailey, again, one of these days, Bailey's going to have her own radio show and she's going to be the host. Tap in the callers. But Bailey, thank you very much. Good job.
Thank you.
So that's all I have. Bailey, if you've got anything to wrap it up, it's yours.
Nope. We are ending a little bit earlier. So thank you again for everyone joining us tonight. And I hope everyone has a great night.
Before we go real quick, we have the commission's meeting at 9 a.m. and this is on the agenda. And so you can go to our website. There's call-in numbers if for anybody's willing who's on the call today. And as always, our meetings are open to the public. So feel free to join.
Would love to have you. So see everybody tomorrow that makes it. And otherwise, good luck as you move forward.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a great evening.
Have a good evening.